You know the difference between a Google search and actual intelligence. It's about $3 trillion and the lives of a lot of good kids. I spent 2 years in the United States Army. I'm not talking about the guys kicking down doors. I'm the guy who tells them which door to kick. I'm a chief warrant officer for inhuman terrain analysis. My job, simply put, is to be smarter than the other guy. I don't use satellites. Satellites can't tell you that a village elder is lying because he's touching his prayer beads in a specific way, or that a farmer has a tan line on his wrist from wearing a watch that's too tight for manual labor, meaning he's been handling weapons, not plows. For the last decade, I've been working as a senior contractor for a private defense firm. We'll call them Aegis Defense Solutions. It was a sweet gig. Good pay, top tier clearance, and I got to handpick my team. We were five guys, five old, grumpy, hyper competent spooks who spoke 12 languages between us. We didn't just translate, we interpreted. We read the cultural tea leaves. We saved more convoys than I can count because I'd call up a captain and say, don't take the main road through Al Hasaka today. The sheep are acting weird, and they wouldn't, and they'd lie. Then the corporate merger happened. Aegis got bought out by a massive Solus conglomerate. Let's call them Vertex Global. And Vertex doesn't care about saving lives. Vertex cares about EBITDA. They care about synergizing deliverables. 2 weeks after the ink dried on the paperwork, he walked in. His name was Brad Miller. He was 28 years old. He had a haircut that cost more than my first car, a suit that fit him a little too perfectly, and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. His title, Director of Strategic Optimization. I knew what that meant. It meant he was here to fire people. Brad called a town hall in the main conference room, glass walls, whiteboard, Keurig machine humming in the corner. My team and I sat in the back. We looked like a bunch of gargoyles compared to Brad's shiny new world. Brad clicks the clicker. It just says EFSENCY in 72-point font. Hey team, he chirps. Way too loud. Big fan of what you guys do. Truly. But we've been looking at the numbers, and frankly, the ROI on the human intel division is suboptimal. My second in command, a guy named Dave who used to interrogate high-value targets for the CIA, leans over to me. Is he talking about us, boss? I whisper. He's speaking the language of the void. Brad continues. You see, human analysts are slow. They're biased. They get tired. They need dental. And frankly, guys, insurance is a killer. He laughs. Nobody else laughs. So Vertex has invested heavily in a new proprietary AI. It's called Omniscient. It scrapes data, analyzes sentiment, predicts threats. It does the work of 50 guys in 5 seconds for the cost of a server rack. He points to the screen. A generic blue glowing brain logo. We're pivoting, Brad says, doing jazz hands. We're moving from human-centric to data-centric. It's the future. I raised my hand. Brad sighed, annoyed. Yes, Chief Warrant Officer Miller, I said. Call me Sarge. You're talking about replacing cultural analysis with a search engine. That's not how it works. You can't algorithm intuition. Last month in Yemen, the AI said the village was green. My guy, Hakim, listened to a guy bragging about his son's new toy at a tea shop. Turned out toy was an IED trigger. The AI would have missed that. My guys would have died. Brad smiled that plastic smile. Sarge, with all due respect, that's anecdotal. Omniscient has processed 40 petabytes of data. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't have a bad day. It just knows. It doesn't know shat. I said, standing up. It knows keywords. It doesn't know fear. It doesn't know honor. It doesn't know when a guy is lying to save face. You put that thing in charge of targeting, people are going to die. The room went dead silent. Dave was looking at his shoes. He knew I just signed my death warrant. Brad's smile vanished. Okay? Look, I appreciate the passion. That's the old way of thinking. Fear-based. We're about empowerment now. We're going to do a 30-day trial. Your team handles the intel for Sector 4. Omniscient handles Sector 7. We'll compare the metrics. Cool. It wasn't a question. For the next month, it was a disaster. My team was bringing in nuanced, layered intel. Tribal tensions rising, probable ID placement on supplier gamma, omniscience report, Sendion NOS, ICE 87% posted IV, THRE Velgarium, recommend out, C and aid con OY. I showed Brad the discrepancy. Brad, look, the chatter on the ground is spiking. They're using code words for ambush. The AI is reading out convoy and thinking positive sentiment because the locals are saying they want aid. It's a trap. Brad waved me off. Sarge, you're biased. You want there to be a threat because that justifies your salary. The data is clear. Sector 7 is safe. We're sending the convoy Friday. Don't do it, I said. It's done. And hey, since we're streamlining, I'm going to need you to sign off on the omniscient reports from now on. Just rubber stamp home. Save us all some time. I'm not signing off on a computer's homework. Brad, if that convoy gets hit, that blood is on your hands. He leaned back in his chair. You know, for a guy who talks about saving lives, you're really resistant to progress. Maybe you're just obsolete. That was it. That was the line. 2 days later, I got the email. Termination, effective immediately. Restructuring, severance package, 2 weeks. Insulting, I walked into the office. My team was packing boxes. Dave looked like he'd been punched in the gut. I fired you too, I asked. All of us, Dave said. Said the AI can handle the linguistics. He hired a kid, a 22-year-old intern named Kevin, to supervise the algorithm. Kevin's degree is in graphic design. I looked over at the SCI. The doors were open. Inside, Kevin was eating a bag of Doritos, watching YouTube on one monitor, while the omniscient dashboard glowed green on the other. I walked over to Brad's office. He was on the phone, laughing. Yeah, no, the legacy costs are gone. We're 100% automated now. It's beautiful. I knocked on the door frame. He hung up. Sarge, I thought you were gone. Just getting my stuff. Listen, Brad, I'm leaving. But I'm going to give you one last piece of advice. That AI, it's a parrot. It repeats what it hears. If the enemy knows we're listening, they'll feed the AI garbage. They'll talk in code, they'll use irony, they'll lie, and the computer will believe it. You pull my guys out, you're flying blind. Brad picked up a stress ball and squeezed it. Noted. Thanks for the input. Security will escort you out. I didn't argue. I went to my desk. I picked up my photo of my kids. I looked at the whiteboard where we mapped out threat networks. I took a dry erase marker, walked over to the main terminal where Kevin was sitting, and wrote on the glass GIGO, a garbage in, garbage out. Kevin looked at me. What's that mean? It means when the shooting starts, run fast, I said. I walked out. I didn't slam the door. I didn't yell. I just left. That's what they call malicious compliance. I let them walk right into the meat grinder. I went home. I cracked a beer. I sat on my porch. For 3 days, nothing happened. I figured, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the AI really is that good. Maybe I am just an old dinosaur yelling at a cloud. Then, day 4, my phone rang. Unknown number. DC area code. It's Dave. Get to a T. Oh, I flipped on the news. Breaking headline. Amasevi expeladaros KS Yuskavo and Swarai. CSULCIS UKM Budiman. My blood ran cold. I grabbed my laptop. I still had a few backdoors into the Aegis network. Old habits. I logged in. The chat rooms were on fire. Vertex Global stock was down 20% in pre-market. I pulled up the after-action report. It was redacted, but I could read between the lines. Convoy 7 Alpha. 3 strikers, 2 supply trucks. Destination Sector 7. The exact sector the AI said was green. They hit an IED so big it registered on the Richter scale. Then they got ambushed by RPGs. 2 KIA-6 WIA. 2 strikers totaled. I scanned the intercepted enemy chatter from before the attack. And there it was. The enemy commander, a guy we called the Butcher, was on an open frequency. He was laughing. He said, and I quote from my memory of the dialect, "The Americans are fools. Their magic box hears only what we sing. We sing of peace, and they bring us iron. Tonight, We feast. They had jammed the frequencies with fake, positive chatter. They used irony. They weaponized the algorithm. The AI heard feast and thought it was a celebration. It didn't know feast meant kill them and take their stuff. I sat back. I felt sick. But I also felt vindicated, I told him. I literally stood in his office and told him. My phone rang again. This time it was Brad. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again and again. 5 times. I picked up on the 6th ring. Hello, Asag. Brad's voice was cracking. He sounded like he'd been crying. Sarge, thank God. We need you. We need you back in the chair. Now, I don't work for you anymore, Brad. Remember, obsolete. Don't do this, okay? I was wrong. I admit it. The thing, it failed. It said everything was fine. I know, I said calmly. I saw the news. How did you know? Because I've been doing this since you were in diapers, kid. You can't automate evil. You can't automate deception. You fired the people who could smell a lie. Now you've got bodies in Syria. Please. He begged. The Pentagon is screaming. The board is screaming. They're asking for the raw intel. The AI just gives me a pie chart. I don't have the human reports. Dave took the servers. Ah, Dave, you beautiful son of a bitch. When they fired us, Dave didn't just walk out. He archived the local intel drives, the ones with the real info, the ones the AI hadn't touched yet. He took them home. I can't help you, Brad. I'm retired. Enjoy your synergies. I hung up. I poured another beer. This one tasted better. An hour later, my doorbell rang. I looked out the peephole. It was a black sedan, a guy in a suit holding a briefcase. I opened the door. Can I help you? I'm Mr. Miller. I'm from Vertex Global Legal. And this is Mr. Henderson, the CEO of Aegis. A short, fat guy with a face like a bulldog pushed past the lawyer. Miller. Get in the car. We need to talk. I'm not going anywhere with you. I'll give you double your old salary. Bonus. Stock options. Whatever you want. I laughed. Money. You think this is about money? 2 guys are dead, Henderson. Because this kid, I pointed at Brad, who was shivering in the back seat, wanted to save 50 grand a year. Henderson's face turned purple. He turned to Brad. You fired him! You fired the intel team? The AI was supposed to replace them. Brad whimpered. Henderson looked like he was going to have a stroke. He turned back to me. Miller. Look, the DOD is threatening to pull our contract. A $500 million contract. Going. If we don't fix this in 24 hours, we're bankrupt. You have the data. Dave has the servers. Name your price. I looked at Brad. He was pale, sweating through his expensive shirt. My price, I said, is that he's gone. Fired. Blackballed. Never works in this industry again. Doom! Henderson shouted. You're fired, Brad! Get out of my car! But, sir! Oh! Brad stumbled out of the car, looking like a lost puppy. He looked at me. Sarge, drive safe, Brad, I said. I looked at Henderson. And my team comes back. Same pay, plus 20% hazard pay. And I want a written apology from the board admitting that synergy is not a strategy. Don't. Everything, just get in the damn car. I finished my beer. I put the bottle on the porch. All right, I said. Let's go clean up your mess. It took us 3 weeks, 3 weeks of 18-hour days. My team came back grumpier than ever. We had to manually sift through terabytes of garbage data the AI had collected. We found the needle in the haystack. We traced the IED makers. We found the cell. 2 weeks later, a Delta Force raid, based on our intel, took them out. No friendly casualties. Vertex Global survived barely. The stock recovered. But the cost, Brad was blackballed. I heard he's selling timeshares in Florida now. The omniscient. AI project was scrapped, written off as a 40 million loss. And me, I'm still here, still drinking coffee in the SCIF, still looking at maps. Because some things, trust, intuition, experience, you can't download. You can't automate a conscience. Brad learned that the hard way. He thought he was buying software. Turns out, he was firing the only thing standing between his company and a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Next time you see a suit talking about disrupting an industry with tech Ask him if his algorithm has a soul. Because if it doesn't, it's going to get people killed.